All right, well, it is time. Week 13. It feels like we were just talking about week 12. Well, that's right, because week 12 carried from Thanksgiving to the following Wednesday. Good Lord Almighty. So I am here, another installment of my weekly game picks. Looking back at week 12 was a okay week, I suppose. 10-6 picking winners straight up and 11-5 against the spread, which considering I started off 0-2 in both categories on the Thanksgiving games, I feel all right about that. That was pretty good. For the season, I'm at 120-57, picking the winners straight up, 101-77 against the spread. Again, best performance I've had, I think, in the years that I've been doing YouTube. So I will certainly take it. We'll always like to do better, but like I said, especially with the spread picks, depending on the week, it could have made some money taking some of my picks. That's all I'm saying. So anyways, there was no Thursday game, so let's get into the games. The Sunday through Tuesday slate. That sounds so weird to say it, but that is 2020 in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and talk about my picks for week number 13 of this 2020 NFL season. Starting off with the early matchups on Sunday, you've got New Orleans traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. You look at the Saints coming off a big victory in terms of point spread only against the depleted at QB position Denver Broncos last week, 31-3. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Falcons coming off of that big dominant performance against the Vegas Raiders last week at home. New Orleans is 3-point favorites here. Does anybody else feel like the Saints are kind of tempting fate here a little bit and they're bound to be picked off by somebody? I don't know about you guys, but I just can't fully buy into and believe them, and I don't this week. I actually like the Atlanta Falcons to win, so give me Atlanta plus the 3. Got the Lions traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. Oh, boy, NFC North action. How about that? And Trubisky starting again. Woo! See how the Lions respond after the firing of Matt. Hopefully it'll be a therapeutic type of time. The Lions should have won this matchup in
week number 1, absolutely. They screwed the pooch on defense in the fourth quarter. And even then, if DeAndre Swift doesn't drop the touchdown pass on the second to the last play, the Lions still would have won. So I'm going to take the Lions to win in an upset, plus the 3. Because frankly, why the hell would anybody pick Chicago to win any more games until proven otherwise? They've lost 5 in a row. Give me a break. You got the Browns traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. I like the Titans here, minus the 6. If I recall correctly, last year they played in week 1 and Tennessee rocked their stuff. I don't think they'll rock their stuff, but the Titans are playing some decent football right now. And while the Browns aren't playing poorly, I mean, they barely got by the Jags last week. So give me Tennessee minus the 6. You got the Bengals traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Sounds like it's going to be Fitzmagic again this week for Miami. I'll take Miami minus the 11. That's a kind of a big spread, but maybe it's another revenge game for Fitzmagic after last week's game against the Jets. You got Jacksonville traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. All of a sudden the Vikings have found themselves a little bit 5-6, and potentially a chance to slide into that race for the 7th slot in the NFC playoff picture. I like the Vikings to win here, but the Jags the last couple of weeks have been very competitive and tough opponents for the Packers and the Browns respectively. So I like that to kind of carry through here. I'm kind of surprised, frankly, the Vikings are such big favorites. I like Minnesota to win, but I do like the Jags to cover the 10.5-point spread. You've got the Raiders traveling to New York, or staying on the East Coast, I guess you'd say, to take on the Jets. The Raiders are 8-point favorites. It's got to be a little concerning seeing how poorly they performed last week against the Falcons. That said, the Jets are the Jets, and they absolutely suck. This is a bit of a danger game, though, for them. As maybe the Jets are destined to have to stumble into one victory this year. I don't know that it happens this week, but it certainly could. I like the Raiders to win, but I do like the Jets actually to cover the 8-point spread, especially because I believe Josh Jacobs and a couple of others are going to be out of action on Sunday. And then the last of the Sunday early games, you got Indianapolis traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. When I look at this is a game that Indy probably needs really badly coming off of last week's loss to Tennessee. Meanwhile, the Texans have found a little bit of a rhythm. They found a little bit of something under interim head coach Romeo Crennel, but perhaps potentially putting him in a position where he could get the job permanently. I don't know why the hell you would do that, but nonetheless, that could be what the players are playing for. I like the Texans in this spot. Give me Houston plus the 3. You go to the late Sunday action. You got the Rams traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. The Cardinals now sitting at 6-5. This is a game that they really, really need.
I expect them to come out and play a little bit better. So give me the Cardinals to win again in another kind of mini upset here. Arizona plus a 2. I feel like I'm picking a lot of underdogs in terms of the spread this week, so I'm hoping that doesn't blow up in my face. You got the Giants. It looks like might be without Daniel Jones traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Seahawks got favorites by 10.5. I'm kind of hedging here a little bit because the Seahawks have a way of making these games against bad teams be closer and more competitive than they should be. But that said, I do like the Seahawks. Give me them minus the 10.5. You got the Eagles traveling to Green Bay to take on the Packers. I like the Packers to win. I do think maybe the Eagles will be able to get some type of backdoor cover for the 7.5, especially looking. The backers are probably feeling really good about themselves beating up on a crappy Bears team, but the week before they really struggled against the Jags. So I expect them to split the difference here a little bit. The Patriots travel to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. I like the Patriots plus the 1.5 here. You've got the Broncos traveling to KC to take on the Chiefs. I'm assuming the Broncos will have some type of technical quarterback starting for them on Sunday, but it probably shouldn't matter. Give me the Chiefs minus 13.5. Now you get to the Monday night action. Remember, there's a doubleheader. There's actually 2 games. So, hey, how about that? That sounds cool, I guess. The first game, you've got Washington traveling to Pittsburgh to take on the undefeated Steelers. Steelers are favored by 7 here. It's really crazy to think about right now. The Steelers are 11-0. They are undefeated almost 3/4 of the way through the season. And it doesn't feel like they're getting nearly the buzz or attention that they should. Maybe part of that is because the Mahomes-led Chiefs are 10-1. The Mahomes-led Chiefs are more interesting to talk about. I don't know. But for a team that's 11-0, they really don't get much buzz. And maybe part of that is people don't believe in them. I guess maybe. I like the Steelers here in this spot. Give me Pittsburgh minus the 7. Even though they are technically coming off of a short week, having just played on Wednesday. Only a few days to prepare. And, again, their history against some of these bad teams is not that good, but I like them in this spot. Then the real Monday night matchup, you've got the Bills and Josh Allen traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Almost like a pick-'em game, even though San Francisco is favored minus the 1. But again, San Francisco is not playing at home because they're not allowed to play at home. It's technically kind of a road game for both teams. I like Buffalo plus the 1 in this matchup. And then the last game for the week, you got the Tuesday night matchup. That sounds funny to say too, but you've got the Cowboys traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. 2 teams that are definitely disappointing in their own way. The Cowboys have been a complete crap show this year. Meanwhile, the Baltimore Ravens, a team, that had a big year last year, number 1 seed in the AFC, but they got bounced by the Titans in the divisional round. But you're thinking, hey, they're going to come back and they're going to do well. Now they're sitting there at 6-5, and you're hoping you get Lamar Jackson off the COVID reserve list and he'll be able to play on Tuesday night. But even then, this Ravens team just hasn't quite been the same this year. Offensively, they're not the same. Lamar's not the same, which, to be fair, you couldn't expect him to be the same. Last year was kind of a once-in-a-career type of season for a guy, and if you were really, really hoping that you were going to get that again, you were probably going to be sadly mistaken. But defensively, I don't think they've been as good. Certainly offensively, they haven't been as good. Meanwhile, you look at the Cowboys and you say, okay, they've got a lot of weapons on offense, but, McCarthy doesn't know what he's doing. You have to be realistic here and say, yeah, Mike McCarthy's not good at his job. I will admit, I was totally wrong about this fit for him with Dallas, and you can't just blame Dak Prescott being out. Because they were struggling even with Dak. And Dak was putting up monster numbers. Their defense couldn't stop anybody. Ezekiel Elliott wasn't doing much in the running game. Now you don't have Dak. Their defense still stinks. And their running game still stinks. It's crazy, man. So you got the Ravens as 7.5-point favorites. I do like the Ravens here. But based off of what I've seen out of them recently, I don't know if they're really that much better than the Cowboys, as bad as the Cowboys are. And they stink. So give me the Cowboys to cover the 7.5-point spread. Maybe this is a get-right game for Lamar and the Ravens offense. They certainly could use one. But this could be kind of an ugly, gotta-scrap-through-it type of victory that they have. And if Baltimore somehow loses this game, A, it probably is a bit of a boost of confidence for the Cowboys, and B, it might be potentially a season ender for the Ravens to lose to the sorry-ass Cowboys. Woo! Almighty God, that would be bad. So anyways, those are my picks for week number 13 in this 2020 NFL season. As always, you're welcome to go against me. Give me your picks in the comment section below. My picks will all be in the description box. We'll see what happens this weekend. Talk to you later.